Hello everyone and welcome to APTU. Today we're going to discuss some of the key features in Advanced Pro for working with products by weight, including catch weighting systems, as well as some general tips for weights and measures. Now we will be taking any questions at the end, so if you do have a question and you're watching live, feel free to put the question to our live chat, and that's available. If you're watching on YouTube, it's just to the right of the video, or just below the video if you're watching on advancedprotech.com. If you'd like to learn more about Advanced Pro, we do have our full library of APTU videos available in advancedprotech.com under the Resources tab or on our YouTube channel. So first, we will be showing some simple methods to adjust weights and measures settings for the entire product, using some various settings that we're going to set up right now. So we're here in Advanced Pro. First, we are going to come into the Admin tab, and we're going to come to this area, Site Settings. So this is going to go into General Settings now, and at this point here, we can set our default weight measurement across our entire Advanced Pro company. So this way, if you want it to track by pound or gallon or gram or any other unit, whether you are in an imperial measure like you would in the US, or if you're working in metric, you can go ahead and set that up here. And this is going to be reflected across all of your documentation. Wherever you would see weight, you would see it reflected in pounds or kilograms or whatever you set here. So next, we'll be talking about some various ways we can actually do product-specific settings. And that's going to happen still in the admin panel, but here in Product Unit Management. So this allows us to set up a list of labels that differentiate what constitutes a single product. So if we're working by pounds, we could have one called pounds. If we're working by kilograms, we could have one called kilograms. And if we're working with a particular product just by eaches or by carton or 5-gallon bucket, we could set these up here as unit names. And this allows us to put a label on a product if we have products that we track differently, to say this product is per carton or per package, and this other product we're tracking by weight. So this is a very easy way we can set up these labels to work with on our products. So now to go and implement those on a product, we can head over to View Products, and we're going to come into the individual product. We will work with the caps today. And here we have the typical setup, the name and the SKU, but we can also go and we can set up our unit measurement. So here we can choose from that list that we just configured. And if we are working with a product by the pound, we would set the individual weight per unit to be 1 pound. If we're working by kilograms and our base unit is grams, then our weight per unit would be 1,000, or vice versa. If we're working with a product that we track by the gram, but our default weight is kilograms, we would use 0.001, 1,000th of a kilogram. So that's a little bit about what that weight per unit does. Now there are some other options if you want to purchase in a different format than you track. So say you want to track by the pound, but you purchase in a 50-pound sack or a 50-pound unit. So what we can do is, as we move ahead to the vendor and pricing info tab, we have this feature called a unit breakdown. And this specifies when we purchase 1 unit from a vendor, what does that convert to internally? So if we were buying by a 50-pound unit, a 50-pound bag, we could put in 50, and then as we order from a vendor, we would put in 1 unit, and that would mean 1 50-pound sack. And then we could come to a receive, and we could just count the number of sacks that we've received, or the number of units that we've received, and it would convert to pounds automatically for us. Now we also have this area for the product name as it appears on the vendor order, and for the sake of clarity in these cases, you might want to go ahead and choose 50 pounds here, just to make it very clear. When you order from the vendor, you're ordering a 50-pound unit, whereas internally we're actually dealing with the individual unit per pound or the individual unit in eaches. And this can be used for a case where you're getting a case of 10 or 12, or in our example here where we're working by the pound and we're ordering 50 pounds. This is simple conversion. For more advanced conversion, you may want to take a look at our previous video on the advanced units of measure capabilities. Okay, so that's just dealing with the basics of setting up a product with tracking by the pound. But we do have another feature, and it's called catch weights, and we're going to be bridging into that next. One last note is that if you're working in manufacturing, you may choose to track in a smaller unit than you normally would. So if you would normally track by the kilogram, but you use very small quantities of a product for manufacturing, getting into less than, getting even a smaller amount than 4 decimal places, then you will perhaps consider tracking in a smaller unit. So you would track by kilogram normally, but maybe go down to a gram for items that you're using very small amounts of, because manufacturing works at a minimum of 4 decimal places for any component. Okay, let's talk about catch weights. Catch weights are for a situation where you want to know how many individual units you have. Say you're receiving an item by the case, but you pay for that item and you sell that item depending on its weight. So the cost is variable. It's based on a weight. So you have a price per pound, but you really care about how many cases of product you have. This is common in the foods industry. Let's talk about setting that up. So there's the initial setup in admin. You'll want to go to utilities, and you'll want to make sure that the catch weights area in here is actually turned on. We have the catch weights tab. Make sure that's actually turned on, and we can go and apply catch weights to your products, searching by product category. I'm also going to show you in a moment how to apply the catch weights rule to an individual product. Now, one other thing I recommend in general setup is if you're going to be using catch weights, I recommend setting custom fields to keep a static price per pound and cost per pound for your products. And you'll see where this is going to come into play as we actually do a purchase and a receive and a bill. So let's go to the product. And again, we're going to just come to View Products and the E button for Edit Product. And we're going to walk through a catch-weighted product. So in the case of a catch-weighted product, we might go ahead and set up a box, and we would go ahead and set the average weight per box. We're going to be changing the weight each time we receive in this case, so this matters a bit less. But now we're going to go ahead and go Save and Next. And here we can put in the cost price per pound and the selling price per pound. And this is actually going to multiply according to the weight per unit that we receive. So you'll see that in just a moment. The last thing that you'll need to do is you'll need to go ahead and check off the catch weighted item here under the additional info tab. Let's go ahead now and we'll walk through a purchase and receiving of goods when we're actually going to pay our vendor by the actual weight of the product that we receive. We're going to go to New Orders. We're going to choose our vendor. We're going to go ahead and proceed, and we'll choose our catch-weighted item. There we are. So at this point, we're going to have the cost per pound, and the price is actually going to multiply by the default weight that we've set. So if it's always 20 pounds, it'll by default give you a price per box of, in that case, 40 pounds. So it would multiply our cost per unit out by the weight. Okay. Now, at this point, I'm just going to order 5 of our single pound boxes, and we're going to go ahead and save. Now, at this point, we get a total. We can print this off. We can easily email it to our vendor as well. So here's a print preview of our vendor order. And we don't know the final weights yet because we haven't received the goods. So for more details on this process of purchasing, receiving, and billing, go ahead and take a look at our full video on that process. Today we're going to focus in just specifically on how catch weights are affected in this process. We're going to go ahead and place this, and it says a reminder to email the order off to the vendor, so I'm going to say no. And now we're going to come into the warehouse area. So this is where we're actually going to receive the product. We come to warehouse, and now we can come into receiving. We'll open up our order, And at this point, we can set the number of items that we're actually going to receive. So it's very simple. We can go ahead and count the items up. Now I'm going to do this whole process manually, but if you're working with a scanner and something like a pre-formatted barcode that contains all the information I'm going to be entering, we can capture all this information with a single scan. And for more information on that, take a look at our custom barcoding video. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to receive the units that we're receiving. This is just our case count. And to set the weight, I'm going to go ahead and click on the weight. Now, if we're tracking lot and serial numbers and expiry dates, that can also be included in our custom barcode. Or we can work with this LS button to go and set those as well. And for more information on that, I encourage you to go ahead and take a look at our lot, serial, and batch tracking videos. Okay, so at this point we have two options for inputting the weight. We can input the total weight for the entire line item. So we could take all our cases of baking soda and put them on a scale together and put in the total, say 10 pounds. Or we can click the calculator button, and this is going to bring up a pop-up to work with the individual units, and we can go and set the weight for the individual units, and Advanced Pro will calculate a total. Today I'm just going to put in the total. We'll go ahead and assign that, and we'll close. So at this point, this is going to now produce a bill that reflects what we actually received, the weight that we received, as well as the quantity. We're going to go ahead and receive this into stock. This is going to become part of our inventory immediately. There we are. Now at this point, when we go to deal with the bill, we can go to Vendors, we can go to View All Bills and Credit Memos, and we can open up the bill itself. And in this case, I'll actually go to the bill that we're working with. Here we are. So this has got a bill for items that we've ordered. You can see it's multiplied up our price because we received 10 pounds instead of 5. So it's doubled our price in that case. And now we have our final price for the product, including catch weights. And this will sync off to QuickBooks. This way our billing and our invoicing, as you'll see in just a moment, can match what happened as we receive and we ship the product and can include the weights that we actually shipped out. Let's actually go to an invoice. Invoicing has even more clarity. We'll come over to the invoice. We'll open up our draft invoice, and I've previously shipped out some catch-weighted products, and here we can actually see the original price per pound. We can see the weight of the product that we shipped. We can see the quantity, and we can see the final weight per unit. And again, we can print this out. We can email it out to our customer as well. So that's just a little bit about our catch weighting system and how you can work with invoicing and billing and inventory with confidence, working with our catch weight capabilities. This is going to conclude today's tour of Advanced Pro's weight and measures options for products. If you have any questions at all, feel free to put them in the live chat if you're watching live, and thank you so much for watching.